Happy Tuesday, loves. Happy podcast day, or happy whenever you are listening or watching this on. Thank you for being here. Welcome back, or welcome to Health, my friend. My name is Abby Mallard. I am a nutritionist and a food relationship coach, and I help you create healthy relationships with yourself, with your body, with food, and with exercise. So the three main components of my work are self-love, food freedom, and enjoying movement. That is really what all of my work is centered around. And yes, I help you reach health goals, but I help you to reach them in a very healthy way. And so if you're new here, welcome. I'm so glad that you're here. This podcast is really just my gift to you. It's kind of like free coaching, where I share different tips and tools and ideas around all things health, all things those three things. And I always share from a very authentic and real place in hopes that you feel seen, that you feel heard, that you feel not alone because you are not alone, and in hopes that something helps you, something sticks, something is helpful, something helps you. I know what it's like to feel alone in struggles and to feel alone in life, and I never want you to feel that way. And so I hope that you feel seen. I hope that you feel like you have a safe space here. That is my goal in this podcast and for these episodes. Do you ever feel like you are so caught up in the chaotic, stressful rat race hustle culture of life that you just cannot slow down? Maybe it's like you literally cannot slow down because there's too much to do. Or maybe it's when you slow down, you feel guilty and you feel unworthy and you feel unproductive. I know that I struggle with this, and I think that a lot of us struggle with this because life is busy. Life is very, 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 very busy. Whether you're a mom, a wife, a husband, a father, a business owner, a corporate worker, whatever it is that you do in life, life is really busy. And so it can be hard to find that time for rest and to find that time to take care of your mental health and physical health when you're just trying to keep up with everything that you have going on, trying to keep up with everyone else, trying to keep up with culture standards, trying to keep up with what society tells you you're supposed to be doing, right? There's all of this pressure and this, pressure and like, I can't think of the word, expectation. There we go. Pressure and expectation put on us by ourselves, by the people around us, by society and culture, by our friends, our family, our coworkers, our bosses. There is so much pressure and expectation put on us to keep up with everything. And so it can be hard to, one, slow down, but to allow yourself to slow down and to make time for breathing, for mental health, for just being. How many times during your week do you just find yourself sitting and being with yourself and maybe doing something that you love, or just simply being? It probably doesn't happen very often, if I had to guess. And so I want to talk about that today because it is very important for health. And when I say health, I'm talking about mental health, emotional health, physical health, spiritual health, all of it. There's so much that ties up into health. It's not just what you look like, what you weigh, how many times you go to the gym, what food you're eating. Health is so much more than that. And so it's so important to take care of your health. And so let's start today. This is podcast format, and I would normally do this with my clients, but you know what? Fuck it. We're going to do it here too. Let's do a breathing exercise together. Because breath is really important. I don't know if you ever feel this way, but sometimes I will be so busy and so stressed out, or like talking so much or doing so much and just trying to keep up, that I literally forget to breathe. It's like I'm holding my breath, or I'm breathing, but I'm not getting those deep, cleansing, good breaths in. You know, the ones that actually like fill your diaphragm up with breath and you feel like you can breathe again. A lot of us do that. It's part of the reason we have tight jaws, part of the reason we have tight shoulders, because when you tense up and you forget to breathe, you're like clenching your teeth, bringing your shoulders up to your ears, all these things that go along with not breathing and being stressed out and being tense. So let's breathe today. So here's how this is going to go. You are going to breathe in through your nose for 4 seconds. And then you're going to hold your breath for 4 seconds. And then you are going to breathe out through your mouth open for 8 seconds. So in through your nose for 4, hold for 4, out through your mouth for 8. So let's inhale. 4, hold for 4. Exhale for 8. Inhale for 4. Hold for 4. Exhale for 8. Okay, we're going to do that 3 more times. I'm not going to cue you. I'm just going to let you hear my breath and watch if you're watching on YouTube. So 3 more rounds. In for 4, hold for 4, out through your mouth for 8. Last one. Do you feel a little more relaxed now? I hope that you did that. If you didn't, rewind and go back and do it. Your breath is so important. Your breath is so important for your physical body. It's part of what helps your heart and your heart rate and getting oxygen to your blood, all of the parts of your body. And it's also important for your mental health, for anxiety, for depression, for feeling chaotic, feeling like you cannot breathe and you cannot slow down and you cannot catch your breath in this crazy, busy world. So, so important. So I want you to do that if you didn't do it. And I also want you to take that as a tool when you are feeling really busy, when you are feeling really stressed out, when you are feeling like you are holding your breath and you can't catch your breath. I want you to do that exercise. Inhale for 4 through your nose, hold for 4, and then exhale for 8 through your mouth. It helps to calm your nervous system. It helps to regulate your nervous system, and it will help you feel better mentally and physically. You'll be able to breathe a little easier. You won't feel as tense physically. You'll be able to think a little clearer. You won't feel quite as chaotic mentally. And so I want you to use that tool. It's something that I do almost every day at some point during the day, because there are lots of times when I find myself holding my breath or feeling stressed and feeling like my heart is racing and I'm anxious. I'm like, well, no wonder your heart is racing. You're holding your breath. So, reminder to breathe today. It's important. Okay, so going along the lines of breath and helping your mental health. Mental health is one of the most important things. So many people struggle with mental health issues, and I am included in that. And I want you to know that there is nothing to be ashamed of if you struggle. Okay? There is nothing to be ashamed of if you have anxiety, if you have depression, if you have PTSD. You are not the only one who struggles, and you are worthy of remembering that just because you struggle does not mean that you're not okay. I was literally reminding myself of this the other day in the car. Okay, this is my work. This is what I do. I work with people on health and mental health and physical health and emotional health, but it does not mean that I don't still struggle. I still struggle. And so I was reminding myself of this the other day. I was driving home and I was exhausted. It was yesterday. It was a Monday and I had come off of a busy weekend and I was feeling really worn out mentally and physically. And when I get really tired, my body responds with anxiety. My heart rate gets higher. I feel really, really fatigued physically, but like my nervous system is on edge. And so I was reminding myself, I was like, you are okay. Just because you struggle does not mean that you're not okay. It's okay to struggle, and it's okay to be anxious, and it's okay to have anxiety, and it's okay to struggle with these things. And it doesn't mean that you're not okay. You're still okay. You're not going to die just because you're struggling with something. You're not going to, not show up well just because you're struggling with something. And also, you're not the only one who struggles. You feel so alone and isolated in this feeling of your body being run down and anxiety and fatigue. But there are so many other people out there who feel the exact same way and have the exact same symptoms. And it's okay. And so I want you to remember that if you are struggling, you are not alone and you are okay, even when you are struggling. And I want you to know that you are worthy of help and support in any way that you need. If you need medication, it is okay. There is nothing shameful with taking medication. If you need a personal care day where you cancel all of your meetings and cancel all of your work, and you just need to lay in bed or sit on the couch and do something that makes you happy, there is nothing to be ashamed about that. Nothing about struggling with mental health is shameful. Nothing. Nothing about it is shameful. Some of the most beautiful fucking people in this life struggle with mental health. And it's because they struggle, and it's because they know what it feels like, and it's because they work through it, and they get help, and they get support, and they take care of themselves. It's because of all of that that they are some of the most beautiful, present, caring, strong people, authentic, that show up just as they are, and they're okay with showing up just as they are. It's not because, they've had it easy breezy their whole life. It's because they struggle. And so I want you to remember that. Nothing is shameful about struggling. I know it's hard to remember, believe me. It's really hard to remember. When you are in the middle of it, when you are having a bad day, when you feel like you are the only one who's feeling this way, if you feel like you can't show up well to a job, or you're feeling really anxious about going into work, or you feel like you're going to let the ball drop on something because of your anxiety or your mental health issues, I know that that feels shameful. And I know that that feels like you're alone in that, but you are not alone. You are not alone, and it is not shameful. Don't be afraid to ask for help. Please don't be afraid to ask for help. And don't be afraid or ashamed to take care of your mental health. It's okay. A story, a few years ago, actually just a couple years ago, I was really struggling with a high heart rate. Water break. A high heart rate, shakiness, like my body was shaking. Um, my heart rate was through the roof. I was really, really tired. Um, and it was like all physical symptoms, right? And because I was feeling physical symptoms, I started to feel really anxious mentally because I was worried that something was wrong with me. When you feel bad physically and you struggle with anxiety, it's really easy to start to go down the rabbit hole of, oh my gosh, what is wrong with me? I was at the doctor's office a couple years ago and my heart rate was like in the 160s, just sitting there. And I ended up having EKGs done and a heart echo where they like ultrasound your heart and make sure everything looks okay. And I mean, I think my heart rate was over the 120s for 3 or 4 hours. Got referred to a cardiologist. Um, Also got on anxiety medications or medication, one medication. Um, and ended up canceling my cardiologist appointment because the anxiety medication fixed all of my physical symptoms. It was anxiety. It was anxiety driving all of the physical symptoms. And I didn't like 100% know it was anxiety because I didn't feel anxious mentally. I would just start to feel really, really bad physically. And then I would feel anxious mentally because I was feeling bad physically. It was anxiety. It was me running myself into the ground and not getting enough rest and filling up every single minute of every single day with taking care of everyone else and being in situations that weren't great for me mentally or emotionally. And I got on anxiety medication and I made some changes in my life and I cut out some things that were really, really bothering me mentally and emotionally. And guess what? Most of those physical symptoms, they went away. And so I just want you to know like it's normal if you're feeling these weird feelings, if you're feeling, like you need that medication to help, sometimes it's the most helpful thing that you can do for yourself. So I don't want you to be ashamed of that. And I don't want you to be afraid to go ask for help. And so with that, I want to remind you of some of the things that are part of taking care of your mental health. Part of taking care of your mental health. One is taking your medication if you are on medication. And maybe it's even having a conversation with your doctor about medication if it's something that you feel like you need. If you are struggling with the physical or the mental symptoms of anxiety or PTSD or depression and you are tired of feeling the way that you feel. It's okay to have that conversation. It's okay to take medication. And if you are someone who doesn't like to be on medication, I want you to ask yourself why. I want you to ask yourself why. And then I also want you to give yourself a little grace and remember that, yeah, maybe you don't want to be on medication your whole life, but maybe it's something that you need right now. And that's okay. So, taking your meds, time for rest, like we talked about at the beginning of this podcast, is very, very, very important when it comes to your mental health and your physical health. So you should be shooting for 8 hours of sleep every night. I slept about 3 or 4 hours a night when I was in college and working and putting myself through college. And I think that's part of why my body got so run down, is because I literally ran it into the ground for 5 years. So making time for rest is so important. Maybe it's extra sleep at night. Maybe it's taking an hour break after lunch and laying down and watching your favorite show or reading a book. Maybe it's going and sitting outside. But making time for that rest is so important when it comes to your mental health. Taking time for things you love, taking time to do things that you love and that fill you up. Maybe you don't know what those are. If you don't, I would encourage you to start to work through that. Start to work through and make a list of things that you love, things that fill you up, things that make you feel happy and at peace. And if you don't have any of those things, I want you to start experimenting with things to see if they are helpful. Getting outside is really important for mental health. When I was struggling with all of the really bad panic attacks before I went to my doctor and got on medication, one of the only things that helped was if I went outside and just walked. I would just go outside in the sunshine and I would listen to a podcast or I would talk with my husband and I would just walk. And something about the sunshine helps. And something about being outside and not stuck inside where you feel so alone helps. Seeing a therapist is a really good tool for your mental health if it's something that you're struggling with. And even if it's not a therapist, having someone that you can talk to, really talk to about how you're feeling and what's going on in your head and all the things that are going on in life. And part of that is being really honest with yourself, right? Before you can talk to someone else about something, you have to be honest with yourself about what you're feeling and what you're struggling with and what's going well and what's not going well and the emotions that you're feeling. I could go to a therapist's office and pretend that I'm okay all day long, but that's not going to help me, right? I need to be honest about what I'm feeling. I need to be honest with myself and with other people about what I'm feeling. There's a big part of that that's really, really helpful because when you are feeling angry or frustrated or anxious or stressed, and you just stuff all of it down inside and you don't let yourself think about it or talk about it or acknowledge it, that gets stored in your body as negative energy that affects you. And I did that for a very long time in my life. And it is much better when you actually talk about what you're feeling and you let it go outside of your body, right? You speak it, you get it out. Time with your friends is really important for your mental health. Having time with those people that fill you up and that get you and that are in your corner. I don't have a lot of close friends in person right now, but 3 of my best friends live all over the country, and I will have FaceTime dates with them and phone calls and texts. It doesn't always have to be a face-to-face coffee date or lunch date or whatever it looks like. Make it work for what your life looks like. Intimacy with yourself and with your partner is a really important part of mental health. Part of that intimacy with yourself is learning how to love yourself and love your body, love your character, love yourself for who you are, aside from what you do. So in closing today, I want you to make time for these things that are part of taking care of your mental health. And I say make because we all struggle with feeling like there's not enough time, right? There is not enough time in the day to do everything that we need to get done. So I want you to make time for yourself. You have to make time for the things that matter. You have to make yourself a priority, or else it's not going to happen. We all have a lot going on. We all have excuses we could use, but it all comes down to what you make a priority. What you prioritize will get done. So prioritize your mental health because you are worth it. And you know, there's this thing, I was talking about it this morning. Do you ever feel like you are not enjoying the things that you love? You are not enjoying your work, even if you normally enjoy it. You are not enjoying all of the different things that you do and all of the different responsibilities and maybe the things that you've created for yourself to do, but you're not enjoying them, not because you don't like them, because you do like them, but you're not enjoying them because you are so exhausted and worn out and just don't feel like doing anything. Do you ever feel that way? So, part of making this time for yourself and making your mental health and rest and sleep and recharging a priority is not only to take care of your mental health and your physical health, but it also helps with enjoying your life and enjoying the things that you like to do and enjoying your work and getting to, enjoy life because you are not burnout and you are not exhausted and you are not just wanting to sleep all the time because you're running yourself into the ground. So when you take time to intentionally not run yourself into the ground, then you enjoy work, you enjoy friends, you enjoy your partner, you enjoy life so much better, so much more than if you are exhausted all of the time. Breathe, breathe today. Use that breathing exercise and take some time, make some time to rest and to do some things that fill you up. Make that list of things that fill you up and schedule this time for yourself, for your mental health, into your schedule for the day so that you actually make yourself a priority. All right, that is your homework for the day. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. Thank you so much for being here. I love and appreciate you all. And I am in your corner. If you need anything, please reach out. And if you have any takeaways, please let me know. All right, have a good one.